I was listening to a video put together by Evan Carmichael of Believe. If you've ever seen any of Evan's videos, you know that they are particularly inspiring and a conglomeration of amazing facts put together by specific amazing people. Now, in this video, Grant Cardone is the man of the subject, and he's talking about money. And he talks about the idea that it is so important to forget some of the things that we have been taught by our environment. It is so very important to realize that money in general is not to be kept in the bank account, but rather be invested so that it can multiply. He said he wants his money to have babies, and so do I. My name's Tarab. I make videos about emotional intelligence every day, and our finances are a big aspect of whether or not we have the time and the energy to build our emotional intelligence. So when it comes to seeing things as an investment versus an immediate gratification thing is going to come down to how well you understand finance, how well you understand an asset versus a liability. In basic terms, and this is from Robert Kiyosaki, assets are things that create money for you, and liabilities are things that necessarily cost you money. So for instance, that subscription, the Netflix subscription, or Hulu, or YouTube, or whatever it is, that strange account that only you know about but makes videos that pertain to you particularly. Now, the subscription itself, unless it is building this asset, which is your brain, this asset, which is your soul, or the amount that you can push out for other people to do while you are sleeping, chances are it's not an asset. Chances are that investment, that recurrent investment is a liability, is something that is never going to generate income. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, why does everything in my life have to be something that makes more money? Because it's stupid not to do it the other way. Because frankly speaking, if you are watching these videos, I assume that you are in either the middle of your career or you are in the beginning of your career. And to think that we have the luxury of not investing, of in fact spending most of our time and energy in liabilities, is to not take full responsibility of our situation, is to allow our jobs, our bosses, our parents, whoever to dictate the flow of our life, rather than embracing the delayed gratification that's required to actually find assets worth our time or create assets that are worth our time. So I would encourage you to get educated about what it means to be incorporated, what it means to have a company, the tax benefits of such a thing, and how really simple it is to start making money once we understand our innate value and also how well we can execute over a period of time. To you, this might sound like a lot. If you've been watching my videos for a while, you're probably accustomed to me talking about things that perhaps rub you the wrong way every now and then. But I do this honestly because I care, and I do this because hopefully the people watching these videos actually want to make a positive difference in their life, and through deduction, the lives of many others around them. So when it comes to the way that I think about money, and mind you, I don't have very much, right? Currently, and it's all subjective, obviously, because some people in my position have a lot less than me, and some people in my position have a lot more than me. But in my estimation of the raw amount that I'm worth currently, or the raw amount of assets that I don't have much compared to where I want to go. But the philosophy of what is an asset and what is a liability, though constantly evolving, and hopefully so, I have a feeling that the way that I approach money tends to be efficient, tends to be a good way to structure things while an individual is building their life, building their wealth. So when I think about where to spend my money, when I think about chunks of money, for me, I realize that the best possible asset that I can have is my brain, is my soul. So I will always spend money on being healthy. Now, does that mean that I have a gym membership? No. Does that mean that I bought weights and bought a pull-up bar and bought an elliptical? Yes, because to me, those are assets. I can say to myself, I have X amount of time in the day and I can go and be healthy for 20 minutes. Instead of having a fixed gym membership that I must then go and drive to, go to the gym, look around, perhaps get distracted, and then come back home, all of which takes more time than just getting fit here. Albeit it's not a huge priority, but it is a priority. Now, on the other hand, if the gym membership, which costs you maybe $20 a month, is also being used to create a larger network, and not in like a yeah, but I'm networking too sense, but like actually you go there and you're trying to get 5 people's numbers, well, the first and foremost thing is realize that that's not going to be 100% dedicated time to getting healthy, first. And second, that though you may be looking for connections at the gym, that perhaps they are not the right people to be looking for. We need to understand, if we're running any sort of business, if we're looking to grow the income that comes to us, that there are certain people that are able to afford our services and there are certain people that are not willing to afford our services. It's beneficial to have a range of products available so that, different people can buy different things based on what they need, but it is very, very important to remember that perhaps the gym is not the right place to go and find people that are what you want to be, unless you want to be a fitness person. I digress. The reason that I'm bringing up subscriptions in general is because I don't think a lot of us realize that that is the way that companies make most of their money, and that is the way that we, the lay people, lose most of our money. We're assuming that the X amount that we are paying over a period of time is worth it. I agree if it educates me, makes me more intelligent, and gives me more opportunities, I agree that subscription is worth it. If, on the other hand, it wastes my time, gives me less opportunities, and doesn't educate me, that to me is not worth it. So that's how I think about assets in general. If I can spend a large sum of money in educating myself, I believe 150,000% that that's more worth it than using that same chunk of money to buy a luxury like a car or, I don't know, a new condo or a pair of shoes or something. Because at the end of the day, even if I lose everything, I still have my noodle. And that's my favorite thing. So number 1 asset, your brain. Number 2 asset, your brain, your soul. Number 2 asset, I would say, is something that can hold your ideas, in a sense, which is a company. The concept of entrepreneurship really just comes down to wanting to be paid for what you want to do. If you are someone that has a lot of ideas and has the ability to execute certain things, I would encourage creating a company to hold those ideas so that when you find the right contact, when you find the right situation, when you find someone perhaps that is willing to hire you, you can lead them all back to that one thing, have it organized, and move forward. Because that vehicle is very, very important for cutting down the amount of expenses that you have that aren't necessary. For instance, income tax. Income tax is the single greatest deductor of your bank account in everything in the West, in Western civilization. Income tax, by far, is the largest percentage taken out of what you earn. And if you are someone that is looking to have wealth in your life, I would eliminate income tax immediately. And that means taking the leap of faith. That means setting up a contract that says, hey, you're going to pay my company an X amount of dollars per month, per year, whatever it is, and we will give you a certain service. We will execute. To get into that situation, we must have a lot of faith in ourselves, but really, we must have a really good idea and consistently be networking with people so that potentially we find someone that A, has the leads that we need, or B, is the lead that we need. Money sounds really dirty to a lot of people, but it sounds dirty because we're afraid of it. We're afraid that selling something necessarily makes us evil, and I couldn't be further from that philosophy. In fact, most of the people that are selling things on the planet are probably doing a pretty good thing for people. You might think to yourself, for instance, Coca-Cola is a shit company because it produces these sugary beverages that people are addicted to. Okay. People don't know that Coca-Cola is also spending a tremendous amount of money purifying fresh water reserves and keeping fresh water reserves available on the planet. Because their brand, their product quite literally depends on fresh water. So, though you may have a negative view of capitalism, you may have a negative view of the environment and things around you, I would argue that the negative view is not coming from the system itself, but a lack of knowing how the system works. So if you want to know more about assets and liabilities, if you want to ask me specific questions about how I would go about it, I am not a financial advisor. I am not someone that knows everything there is about finance, but I am someone that is allowed to have an opinion. And I believe that this opinion can be useful for the catalyst in society so that you have enough liquid capital to be able to invest in the things that you want. So we talked about companies, we talked about the philosophy of something building us up. Okay, what about investments in general? So I am gearing myself up to hopefully own a private equity firm. And the reason I want to do that is because I know that there is only so much I can know. And if I am a systems person, if I'm someone that looks at a system and can derive some sort of conclusions from it, its inefficiencies, its efficiencies, the people that work in it, the culture, whatever, then my strong suit is the ability to analyze at a macro scale. My strong suit is not to sit down and concentrate on one minute detail. It's ironic because I'm a dentist by trade currently, but it just goes to show how very, very important it is to understand your own skill set when it comes down to the money things that we want to do. You can make a tremendous amount of money from being that specialist that concentrates on specific things, but there needs to be a system built around you, right? I'm someone that likes to build those systems, so investing makes a lot of sense to me. And investing is a game of trust, but it's also a game of numbers. At the end of the day, we must be aware that, first and foremost, money sitting in the bank isn't great, because worst case scenario, you can probably take out a loan if your credit score is high enough to make the big payment for some sort of medical necessity or something that you need, as long as your cash flow, as long as the money coming in is standardized to a degree. But investing really comes down to understanding that money has the ability to work while we can't work. Money has the ability to produce more money if spent efficiently, if put into something that can propagate. So that for me is investing. Investing is like planting seeds or giving fertilizer to a tree. It's the ability for us to say, hey, we don't need these funds right now in our bank accounts, so let me put it into something and see what it turns out like later, and perhaps that'll give me funds later. There's various degrees of risk that come with investing. Investing in ourselves, in my opinion, is the lowest risk thing that we can possibly do. Investing in stocks, something close to that. Not the return on a stock versus investing in ourselves is probably a lot lower, I would argue, unless you're really an idiot, which none of you are. But investing in, say, a company that's coming up, say an individual, a CEO, an acquisition, it tends to be a little bit more risky. And so it's very, very important for me personally to have an accountability system that says, hey, make sure to check what the revenue statements are. Make sure to understand what a profit loss statement is. Make sure to understand what is the possibilities. What are the possibilities of actually making that money multiply, right? If it's low, you're taking a tremendous risk. If it's high, it might require you to take a lot of time out of your life to do that thing. So there's a lot of factors that go into it, but I'm proud to announce that I have invested some finally into Tarabify art, and that my artwork, along with some of the generations that we've done, along with the fractals of my partner, along with the music, all the stuff that I've been working on for years and years, finally is going to have a place where people can go and buy it. People can go and interact with it in some way. So do I think it's this crazy multi-million-dollar project? Not right now, no. But do I think that it will generate enough revenue to offset the amount that I invested into it? Absolutely. And so to me, it's a rational decision. Plus, it gives me the ability to offer opportunities to other people that are interested in these things, which to me is incredibly satisfying in life. Why not? Anyway, hopefully you found some of this stuff interesting. If you want to have more of these conversations or a consultation or something, please reach out to me at tarabify@gmail.com. I would love to chat with you, give you some free ideas, give you some free game, and then if we want to do business together, I'd be gladly, hopefully I have the time to do that with you. Actualize your potential catalyst. This world needs you. And if you have a second, check out this video. Peace!